Hello, everyone. I am very, very excited to be here. Thank you for invitation. So I'm Eomji from Encode Club. I'm head of research and operations at a leading emerging tech education community. Today, I'm going to talk about why hackathon and how to succeed in hackathon, because hackathon is a pivoting role in Web3 to break into the space. First thing, perhaps some of you don't know about Encode Club very well. As you perhaps has guessed by my name, Eomji, I'm Korean, but I'm based in Germany, Munich, and Encode Club is based in London. So we are more well known globally, like in Europe or in US. So what we do is we are making a lot of education programs such as developer bootcamp, hackathons, or accelerator to nurturing early stage projects. And now why I'm here, because I'm coming to Korea at least once or twice a year to meet Korean community to support. And today I want to share a little bit more about how to break into Web3 with hackathon. So first thing is why hackathon? So breaking into Web3 is also permissionless. In comparison to many Web2 projects, there's no such thing you need to go over too much. If you want to deploy some smart contract, you just can go and do it. And protocol basically cannot even stop you. And then you can make your own service on top of it. If you want to move to something else, same thing. But it demands proactive initiative because this ecosystem is quite nascent. Maybe some of them are not that friendly, so you don't know even what to do well. And also, perhaps all the support system, maybe you are not aware of them too much. But what I want to say is that's the part of opportunity comes. We are in such an early stage where you can jump in, and when you contribute, you can have your own equity. And another thing is you can carve out your own niche in the space. So little thing just about myself, I have mechanical engineering with a control theory background. So quite far from blockchain initially, but blockchain was my hobby. And I was just looking into some different video tutorials to learn about technical concepts, what is the consensus mechanism, what this protocol is doing, or that's how actually I get to know about Encode Club, because I was watching the video from Encode Club, and then I could carve out my niche, that doing a lot of different chain. And now at Encode Club, we are working with all the major L1, L2 protocol to deliver this education program. So hackathon, why hackathon? That's a great starting point for career changers. You may wonder hackathon is just for developers, and I want to say that's not true. If you look into the great startups, perhaps the technical product may need developers, and not may need, either need developers, especially if you're developing something, but also, it's not enough to make your projects going further. This morning, Amanda from Serotonin said that actually, she quoted the word from Eva from the graph saying that everything in the blockchain is either building or trading or marketing. So let's say when you look into the projects, when projects are going further, we need people who shape the concepts and also managing the project itself. So either you are a technical person or non-technical person, please open yourself a little bit and joining this space with hackathon. These are the different types of opportunity you will go into hackathon and exposed to. One is, of course, network with like-minded. Still, we are in a little of, small space, and all the people who are going to hackathon, there's a high chance that they're very interested in learning something new and then building something. And this hackathon is also very popular to VCs. So if your project looking for investment, this is a great way to get your exposure. The best project who got invested is approached by VC, not you approach the VC. So hackathon is one of the best way to get exposure about your team and your project. Another thing is, of course, build your portfolio. We are not expecting everyone becoming an entrepreneur, but if you're looking to a new job, break into Web3, this can give you different opportunity to building a portfolio of yourself so that they can see that which ecosystem you understand, what kind of project you built, and what kind of role you had. So it's very naturally showcasing your skills by those products. And of course, you can make friends. And of course, you can win prizes and having fun there. So how to succeed? Of course, my first question going to be define succeed in hackathon, define success. Someone gonna say that like for prizes, someone gonna say that like you landed in the job, or someone gonna say you secured the funding. There's a lot of different way. For me, like one of the important like success is like how you can go through the stage of all the product development and you finish and you kind of make that into your track record. There's a few tips I want to share. First is a lot of new hackers are struggling to get some ideas. Don't hesitate to look into the successful projects around. I'm not saying that like you need to copy paste them, but if you're especially beginner, forget about building a most innovative one. You can start with some project like just building something very similar, like sister app, So it's similar to when you start with a JavaScript, maybe you were making a Todoist, calculator. So maybe you will start with something simple and then you will start to add new features. Another thing is don't limit yourself to solve Web 2 problems. Especially hackathon can be very, very silly, except you're building something illegal. So please don't build something illegal in the hackathon, but don't think about this should be really useful. Hackathon project doesn't need to end up as a startup project. It's just like proving your skills sometimes. So you can build really, really silly projects. It can be something fun. It can have like some stupid concept, but behind that, what kind of tech stacks you are using, what kind of features you are building for that, those like sparkling ideas going to be something people are going to be actually looking into it and going further. This is very important. Focus on MVP. Everyone says that, but nobody actually really follow this rule too much in the hackathon, especially if you're engineers or developers. We all have that disease that we feel like our project is imperfect and we don't want to submit. So this is something we need to get over. And also we need to focus on really, really few features first, especially in-person hackathon. You have a very limited time. I'm sure that every hackathon first 3-4 hours going to be spent for setting up environment. So please keep in mind that you need to focus on core interactions. Oh, go. So first, a lo-fi, it's not you're having a playlist of the lo-fi music, but what I wanted to say is low fidelity prototype you need to build. So don't focus on super fancy front ends or having a seamless wallet connect, unless wallet connect is the main part of your project, but you need to focus on core interaction of your app. So if you're building a very complicated DeFi product, if you're building a game, one thing is you need to focus in that game interaction, what's going to happen, not perhaps a commenting or like function. I think you know what I mean by having a limited feature. So one thing also I recommend is Wizard of Oz. Maybe some people who learned about design thinking, maybe you heard about this. Some of the features you don't need to exactly building it, but you can mimicking it. So one of the actual example of the startup, someone who wanted to making an AI trading service, they actually didn't have the AI model, but they wanted to know if people are going to pay for that. So there was actually human trader behind, and they let people make the request. And they were trading 24 hours. They realized that it's actually the revenue was going great. They were building a more sophisticated model. So my suggestion in hackathon is also try to utilize that, testing something very quick, and then you can pivot. And get feedback, especially get feedback from sponsors and mentors in the hackathon is really important. In terms of A, winning prizes, or B, networking with those mentors. A, in terms of prize, they are the judges, so they know what they are looking for. So you need to talk to them. So they're gonna tell you, okay, if you're building this one, please look into these libraries, or don't focus on feature A because this will not be working on testnet. So you need to get all those info which they couldn't put into all documents. Another thing is just for the connections, let's say, a lot of protocols coming there, not only making a new dApps and transactions on their chain, but they are coming to hire you. So if you're looking into opportunity to break into Web3, it's not only Web3 hackathon, but a lot of Web2 hackathons, they're actually coming to hire people there. So you communicate with them, showcasing your skills, even though it may not end up most sophisticated app. That's a great way to show your skills. And don't fall in love with your idea. So this is very hard because we should love our idea to pursue things, but at the same time, we should be able to pivot things. What happened a lot in the hackathon is there's maybe one kind of cherry on top feature, you think that that's so cool, but maybe not super necessary, but you fall in love with it. It's not working because of their SDK, their library, something. You stick to that and you cannot finish your project. So what I want to say is like, please don't fall in love with your idea. You need to, of course, support it and building further. But when it comes to the situation, you need to pivot. And in your hackathon, or if you become a startup founder, it's your duty that you shouldn't fall in love with your idea and you need to build further. And this was so important. Everyone, please save your projects. It once happened to me very badly. I was in the hackathon just a minute before. Also, another thing is, please update your laptop in advance. So for me, not Control S situation, but what happened is just 60 seconds before my pitch, my laptop started to do a software update. I was like sweating, and my team needed to roll back their OS to kind of running things. That was horrible but fun experience. But please save your projects. If you're experienced developers, of course, you need to utilize the Git as much as possible. If you're a beginner, just saving locally is a great start. So that's something, same thing for your pitch deck as well. There are a few typical mistakes people make. I will quickly go through them. This one, we already talked about it, not overcomplicating the project. This happens a lot because we are all we are all in the space because we really like technical stuff. We like new concepts. So we want to implement too many things at once. So you are making a whole product roadmap. And I'm going to many hackathons as a hackathon judging. And what I see is I see 10 different features. I see there's no chance that they build it during this hackathon. When I go into their repo, they actually build the 2, and 8 is their imagination. What's their plan? I would say you need to be very clear about that. This is more and more those projects I'm seeing. That's kind of that will be hindering your growth in the hackathon space. So what I'm gonna say is focusing on core interaction. You can mention what you are about to build so that people know that you are considering it, but you need to making a very simple working app, and that's the way to go. This is another one, echoing to the first one, not talking to sponsors, mentors, especially, a lot of sponsors, mentors who come here. Can you imagine that you just casually message them? Can I talk to you 1 hour? I'm sure 99% you will get no. But in the hackathon, they already captured they are there to support you. So please bother them and talk to them, because all the hackathon organizers or education organizers, program organizers, they bring these all high profile people for you, high value people. They are here to spend time with you. So please utilize that. And that's the best time you can get to know them and get some insights. And neglecting the pitch. So in the end, in the hackathon, if you want to really pursue prizes, if you're not for prizes, this is something you don't need to think too much. But if you're fighting for prizes, pitch is really important, especially if you want to build your own project as an entrepreneur one day. Pitch is your duty. So we know that maybe developer, engineer is not necessarily the best speaker in the room, but this is our duty to become a best salesperson and best marketing person while the company grows or your project grow, right? So please, don't neglect the pitch. And at least a few hours before your hackathon submission start, try to shape the narrative, how we're gonna do. Please write nice with me. They're gonna help judges a lot. If judges cannot understand your project, there's no way that you're gonna get the score. So please write down clearly what is it about and create nice pitch about your project. You can get ChatGPT help, but please don't rely on it 99% because it can really make verbose explanation, and most judges can recognize it in 15 seconds and they don't like it. So please, giving a little of time to create a nice pitch. Oops. Oh, what's going on? It's keep rolling back. Oh. Okay. So this is the last tip, not submitting. So most of hackathon, you will see that hackathon, when you go to hackathon, you will see that a room is really crowded full of hackers, but in the end, you will not see that every hacker is submitting it, because still something bothering us, which is imposter syndrome, that we think that our project is not good enough. So please think about that in the hackathon. Once when you submit, we pick the top 3 winners, but we don't pick the top worst projects. It's not nobody gonna humiliate you look at these worst projects. try to submit something, because important thing is like submitting is kind of you're going over some mental barrier, so that it makes you a much more accountable person finishing a cycle of the product, because everyone knows that this is not the product you're gonna make people pay for, but you are showing your idea. So it doesn't need to be perfect. Even I'm saying this, I always like suffer from this like imposter syndrome, not only in the hackathon, even at work sometimes. Before writing there like a report or my tweets, I always like sit down and can I tweet this or not? But submitting and making an action is really important. So I want to finish my talk with like a one nice like thing from Steve Jobs. He was giving a speech at Stanford. What he's talking about is sometimes, you know, you don't know like our future really well, and what you're doing, you are not sure like how we're gonna connect to each other. We only can do that when we look back that made sense. Especially in Web3, every people are a little bit scared of like what's gonna happen in next years. But what I want to say is like make a lot of dots. And we need to just like trust us and believe that these dots gonna be connecting at certain point. So what I want to say is like a hackathon is again one of the nicest way to building a portfolio and meet people. Sometimes you may think it doesn't make sense, but this is one of the best ways to connect the dots in the space, meet all the professionals and building your portfolio. So please try things out. If you're not sure how to start and if you want to get some advice, feel free to contact me. I'm Eomji Park. You can search me with my full name in Twitter. Thank you for listening today.